Sorry to.
No, what's
I'm
happening?
using audio from your laptop.
It's just slides only, yeah. It's
need
not
any
you.
audio.
No, you're cool. I have got an intro, but I won't bother. I got too much to get through anyway, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So if you're a fish, I choose truth juice. Bet a few of you find your way here. I'm going to leave that there. Where's my pints? There.
And they reckoned about being a trouble.
Yeah, let's fill up. I got no memory on it, no battery.
It's just there. Never realised.
Now I post on Facebook. Oh. Yeah, that doctor trips up after that. Yeah. So. Oh yeah, Michael. Oh yeah, Steve. All right then, I'm just going to give you a little live thing from Truth Juice in Birmingham. All of these good people are filling up, come to see me doing a flattery thing. I met this guy last year at the flattery. What's that guy's name? Barry, who's not from Barry.
Hello everyone.
And I met him last year at Kidderminster. Also this lady, Louise.
Hello, my name's Julia. Oh yes, lots a year ago.
5-year flat earther, same as
Yeah,
Wow.
5 years.
So
5 years.
basically, well, we're veterans.
We're veterans, yeah.
It's like worse than being a NAM veteran. A flat earther,
Yeah.
NAM veteran's got nothing on it. Okay. They go from I've been a gunner. Yeah, I've been a flat earther.
Yeah, yeah. Who started you off, by the way?
Sorry?
Who started you off being a flat earther?
Max Sargent, first video I ever seen, and I went Eric Dubé, My Perspective, Flat Water, Flat Earth.
Oh, flat water flat earth.
Nick, fucking word is still going now. Nick, Punkette word.
Oh, fuck it.
I says fuck it. I thought it was a rap term when I seen it, and I was going to him, yo, and all of that, and then he's like a public, really, well-spoken chap, like,
Yeah.
I got that fucking written down. Let's have a little look around. These haven't all turned up for me, have they? What are all these people doing? Not all for me, are they?
Well, they've come to see you.
Oh, I don't know. I've got a clue. So, who's got here? 60 people talking, yeah? Make sure to share this out, you have a freebie. Now this gentleman is highly interested, not interested at all, but he is interested. I met him last year.
Definitely a flat earth.
Definitely a flat earther. Knows a lot of stuff about a lot of stuff. Very knowledgeable chap. We spoke before. You don't want to be filmed, do you? I'm just having to walk around with my camera. Do you mind? Oh, how'd you do all? There's nobody there, it's only me. Pretending and talking in the camera. Yeah, just having a walk. Oh yeah?
Didn't think you'd make it.
Me, I nearly never. But the bus was a 111 and it was like a magical ride. I basically did a Jedi mind trick on the driver. I do not have to wear a mask. And it worked. I was epic. So who are you then?
I'm Gemma.
You're pretty fantastic, aren't you, Gemma?
Oh well, I didn't get that far. Get yourself one of them, Martin.
I got him, but I went on the bus in Wales. They're going completely fucking nuts, right? Can't go in a shop. Even my local last bastion shop of niceness, they talk to me like shit, and we're all really
Crazy,
funny.
man. They've all gone crazy.
I said, well, what's going on, Bobby? I'm not coming here ever again. Did you forget we've been friends for 20 years and we always speak to one another with manners? It's like, just because he had the mask on, he thought he could be all chopsy. Because like, it gives them big, for some reason, because they're hiding, they feel that they can chop us off more. It's like, what's going on, man? Never go in there again, ever. Don't want to. I'll order online from now on. Anyway. Hi guys. Can you shake hands on my channel and say hi?
No problem. Hi.
Hi. Nice to meet you.
Right.
No, don't worry. Good. Good.
Video, don't worry about it.
All right. Nice one, brother. What's your name?
My name's Lucan.
Lucan.
Yeah.
Dave, nice to meet you, mate. You haven't come to see me, have you? We just hang around you. What are these people doing here anyway? You got the wrong day or something?
For the experience, mate. So it's a bit of knowledge.
Oh, all right then. I don't know what's going on, yeah. Hiya, you're nice people.
I've got the
Yeah.
sweatiest hands in the world.
Don't worry. I suffer with sweaty palm syndrome as well. Oh, they look nice as well, don't they?
Birmingham been good to you? Birmingham been good to you?
I just went in literally the best chip shop in the world.
Oh, which one? Where was it?
By the travel lodge, right?
Yeah.
And like the woman actually stated, like, yeah, we were a really fantastic chip shop. I said, yeah, you are. It was old school. It was like,
Orange chips.
I was like 1977 chippy. I was in my element.
The ones we need to know about apparently, and that then, yeah.
Yeah, basically it was hanging, and I liked it. And even when I shared my chips with the homeless guy, I gave him half each. Right? Best architecture is completely just left to rack and. It's a joke.
We went around the city centre the other day to have a look at all the sites where they're getting rid of it, so you can see everything.
And they
that
replace
they're
it with
about.
just crap. It's just obvious. They're getting rid of this
Big,
tech.
nice square glass boxes.
Yeah, I know. That Alchester Road, just some of the beautiful buildings, the library, the swimming bars, you've seen that?
You went round it, I got all the doors.
Swimming bars, just they're all full of Phoenician architecture. I thought, my God, this place. Sorry?
What about the Mosley banks?
Yeah, it was just like a glass domed roof, all like Phoenician architecture outside, Greco-Romano. It was absolutely fantastic, and it was just left to rack and ruin. The place was beautiful.
Be a HMO soon.
See, if that was me, I'd tat everything up and have this place like fantastic. Everybody in the world would want to come here. It's really weird. They don't want that though, do they? So, hi, what's your name? You're live on Flat Earth British. Only a few people there. What's your name? D. Hiya. You're Flat Earther.
What?
You're Flat Earther.
No, I'm
You're into my history. Just curious. Okay.
You'll say that.
You may feel a bit strange later.
I'm a flat earther.
Oh, okay. You're a sister then. Not that you're not a sister because you're not Flat Earther. I'm just saying. It's all troopers. We're all brothers and sisters. Just saying. Hiya, love.
It's taken a while to get there. Everybody wants to be on the camera, by the way.
I know you're not on it, love. Space to me, love.
Too
Go
many
this way.
people after it, just keep
I won't do that to you. Brother, we met earlier, didn't we? I didn't catch your name.
Did yes. Wayne.
Wayne?
Yeah.
This, do you want to go Flat British?
Yes.
Say hi. Wayne?
Hiya.
My brother just been having a chat over there. They've been basically selling like organ technology. It's absolutely fantastic. I sat in an organ pyramid, which I'll show you now.
Yeah.
It's lovely to meet you, brother.
And you.
You're so clued up. You know everything about everything we know. And like,
I'm here to learn.
I will learn tonight. We'll learn together. Maybe if we could share some stuff as well and make things move along. That's how it works. I know you. Have I seen you?
You haven't seen me tonight.
But I've seen you before.
I think we met once before somewhere.
We have met.
Weekend.
Was it in a meet? Flat Earth meet or something? Yeah, I know your face. Nice to meet you anyway, brother.
You're right.
Yeah, man, safe as fuck. Anyway, thanks for getting me here, guys. I couldn't even get here earlier, so the Flat Earthers sort of sorted me out. That's what they're like.
Awesome.
Yeah, awesome. People keep texting me and stopping my feed though. Guys,
You'll disconnect, isn't it?
I'm gonna have a go in that organ thing now in a minute. Nice to meet you. Hi,
Nice
sir.
to meet you, yes.
Martin? Oh, you know me?
Listen to you. Oh, yeah, I was one of your first subscribers.
You're joking, you haven't been following me all this long, so you know everything that I've been through and everything else.
I don't know everything you've been through because I got fed up of you.
You're not the only one. You got fed up and me and come back when I got good. That's alright, it's fair enough. I was shit, mate. I was rubbish.
You what, sorry?
I was rubbish in the beginning. I can't even look
No, I
at
used
it.
to like you at the beginning. You know.
I did that for the job at the time. They made me cut my hair. And this is the end result. I've grown this since. I never, especially with the truth, like I thought I'd never do that again.
Still rolling those.
Penny cigarettes, yeah. I told you that. I'm gonna have one now before I get started. What's happening, brother? What's happening?
Yeah, good to see you.
What's happening? Do you like to go on camera? Flat British? Flat Earth British? You alright to go on camera? Do you mind?
Prefer not to.
Fuck it safe. Don't blame you. So, you're cool. What's happening? You come to see me.
Come to listen to what you're going to talk about because it's pretty like you seem to want to correlate a lot of information. That's pretty good. You remind me of an old traveller geezer, man, that I used to know. I don't know whether you used to be on
I've
that
been,
scene.
yeah, I was very much on that
Like
scene.
it's
Yeah, man. I was constantly the ends back in the days.
How old are you?
I'm 52, 53 in a week.
Okay, well I'm 54,
So yeah, same,
53, I'm
same.
53, sorry. So I thought you were the same age as me.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
So you did all the festivals back in the day?
All of it, brother.
Yeah, I thought so.
Decades, brother. Of all of it.
Same.
Living, I go from Enge, go and live in the forest, in Savanac Forest for the rest of the summer.
You're
And,
not recording this, right?
yeah. It's all right, because they know I'm Glastonbury, sort of that sort of person.
Yeah, no,
Not
I just
anymore,
assumed
though.
that you were part of that scene. 'Cause
Yeah,
that scene was the
definitely.
biggest movement of open-mindedness in the UK.
Brother, I can't even tell you how fantastic it was back in the day.
You haven't got it, so
The Travellers.
I do censuses for a living now. I've done raves for the last. Well, I've put a lot of records out, done a lot of nights, but I've done sound systems over 30 years.
Serious?
I've got a massive system here. I do systems with the time. I have to put in a 7.5 ton truck, put a 3,500 pounds.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what,
Fucking epic,
that's the
brother.
story. So yeah, that kicked it for me. The raves.
It's nice seeing.
Going to the parties, like, for me, was just a big eye.
I'm just a reggae head, me proper reggae head though.
It was just the hardcore rave.
Yeah.
So I know spoils and all them and LSDs or Bedlam, Seed from War.
It's one thing I didn't go down was the MMPM road. I just didn't bother. Didn't bother with the pills, didn't bother with that sort of thing.
I love the truth.
I didn't. I just didn't go there. Not with that. Or even the rave thing. I was out of it by then. I was in a merchant anyway. I was travelling around and doing different stuff. I did love it though. Anyway, nice to meet you, bruv. You're not on it, don't worry. Nice to meet you. Fat thumbs. Anyway, let me put this up by here. And I'll use these orgone things, guys. So I've got chocolate cake. Don't know if there's meat. And this is the sit-in. I'll show you now. Sitting here. Oh, this is really, really nice. Hi, Ranty. You're getting wasted tonight, Martin. No, I'm not. No. Yeah, maybe later. How you doing, Ranty? Good to see you, brother. You don't live far. You could have come and visited Blackpool. Oh, no, that's really far away. Don't worry. And these, look, pretty things. It is nice. It is nice. And this here. All gone. It's good, eh? So, what I need is an empty glass. For what now? That goes in the back of there, look.
Nah, that was my fault. I never plugged it.
Right.
Miss everybody.
I must say, Martin, you seem extremely relaxed, which is very nice.
I'm not really that bothered about sort of I'm not really bothered about like self-conscious about myself.
Nice to see you all. Thanks very much for coming. I should mention before we get underway, if you've not been before, there's a male toilet right to the right, the ladies right to the left. You can smoking shelter outside in the car park to the left. And there is a bar out and to the right. There's drinks and so on. Don't let the women touch the snooker table. Because there's rules. Rules here. Don't you start with your PC feministic wiles. The rule here is a woman can watch the snooker, but she cannot address the table. Quite right. No. Quite right. Well, one of the ladies might want to jug a few balls while she's waiting for a drink, and they'd be like, that's not acceptable. She can't form a proper bridge, we know that. We've tried to teach her.
That's your pictures on the screen.
So, that's general housekeeping. I do appreciate you all coming and accepting some of the house rules. As you know, we had this new shutdown this week, which no one's worried about at all. So I'm really appreciative you come, accepted you have to have the infrared and so on. The club brought that in because some of the oldies were a bit nervous. Because people are scared. People are very scared. We went, a friend of mine was in Ireland yesterday at a funeral. A very good friend of mine was in Ireland for 3 days for a funeral. It was an open casket. You know what that is?
Yeah.
2 days in the house. Everyone comes in and says hello and goodbye. The children have to come in and say hello, stroke their hands, and then you're allowed to put anything in the coffin. Bit of weed, the bong, bottle of champagne, little crossword puzzle book, some of the kids' pictures, and then you close the lid. We'd never done it before. A friend of mine hadn't done this before. So when you go in the first time, because of our culture, we've been culturally programmed to be repelled by death. Not to celebrate the life, and to invigorate that inanimate object with the spirit that was, but to put the lid down and put it in an old quick. You get 15 minutes at our local funeral parlour to view through a double glazed window. In Ireland, everyone gets really pissed. And then they walk in and sort of like start grabbing the person. Jesus, you fucking shouldn't have, and that's so on. What? You have to drink from 7 a.m. Saturday morning till 4 a.m. Monday. Yeah, this morning. You have to put the commitment in. But it's a tremendous spirit. You walk the coffin along the road so that all the neighbours come out and say goodbye. And the shop's shut. So all the shop people can come out, thank them for the custom. And then when you get to the church, all the community come and say goodbye. So in England, you can get 7 people around the graveyard at the minute. And I think it's a psychological PTSD impairment of the future, is that none of the children will have buried their grandparents. They'll have been there one day and gone the next. If you do it to a dog, he eats your settee. If you leave without telling your dog you're leaving, that fecker will chew something because he thinks you're playing. Honest. People ruffle the dogs before they leave. And then they walk out the door and the poor fecking dog thinks they're coming back in a minute. And they get anxious. And that's what's happening to the children. Things are being removed from their lives in an instant, but there's no closure because we're not allowed to gather at the grave. So it's just an interesting cultural anomaly that's happened, where in one society there's a celebration of death, and in our society it's a little bit more somber, and you don't get closure, which is maybe why we have so much grief issues later in life, like I did, where you don't get the closure and then it hits you like 3 years later. So brace yourself, because in 2 or 3 years, there's going to be a lot of 10 and 12 and 14-year-old kids who've got a major issue with who they are and where they come from, because they lost their root. Interesting. So tonight's the segue, beautifully segued. Tonight's talk is about cultural reappropriation and who built our culture and our buildings and our technology, and then why are they trying so hard not to tell us who built it. They try so hard, they spend a fortune, don't they? They spend a fortune knocking shit down. I took Martin through Kingsley from Moseley, and he got a chance to see, you know, them beautiful buildings you go through, you sometimes miss it. But if you just look up, there's like a world of art. It's been put up there for a reason. We can't reproduce it, let alone define it. So I'm wonderfully honoured tonight to introduce Martin Leaker. Like, I get to meet my heroes. This is one of them. So 4 or 5 years ago, he was saying shit that no one could understand. It takes us 3 years to catch up with the geniuses because they see something. You know, like, certain people are just tuned to see it. When they say it, you go, what the feck? I never noticed that. And Martin Leaker was one of my flat earth guides, but then more importantly, I think, a Tartarian guide. So we're going to learn tonight about maybe who some of our predecessors were. I'm not sure if we're the borrowers. We lived under the floor with the giants. And when they died, we just dug out their shit. That's why the doors are all 24 foot tall. So Martin's done a lot of research and he's been hammered for it. He's been oppressed on, he's got like 30, 40, 50,000 subscribers and gets 500 views for a video. You know he's over the target.
Right, it's not that bad, but it's bad.
It can be, can't it? Yeah. Some great talks, Philip Drezenon, John Levi, John Ward, getting 300 views and 1,000 views. And then someone puts up a cat farting and he gets 1 million views.
Oh, it's always been that way. It's always been that way.
It's mad.
Yeah,
so as I said, I'm honoured to bring Martin up tonight. I'm honoured you've all come out and hopefully to show him a bit of love and respect for all of the lineage of work and the tens of thousands of hours he's put in. So I'd like to give a massive round of applause and say welcome, Martin Leaker.
Oh, thanks. So many of you, oh my God, making this effort to come on. Thanks. Can you hear me all right? Right, I'm going to try and keep myself calm, is what I'm going to do, because I tend to get a bit erratic. Okay. And do this in a chilled sort of nature. Now, if you don't know me already, Matt Leaker, YouTube, I've been around for about 5 years. I came into basically the flat earth movement very early on. There was hardly anyone in the world posting at that time, maybe half a dozen channels. So I got in it really early on, but after a year or two of being trolled senselessly and finding that I couldn't actually get anywhere with that subject, I decided to diversify into another subject, something else that I knew quite a bit about, which was history. And something that had been bugging me for the longest time about history is, where is the old world? Who built these buildings? And far off antiquity, you know, if you go through your city streets, all buildings seem to have arrived, what, in the late Victorian era? This city, every city in Britain, every city in Christendom. All cities seem to arrive around the mid-1800s mark. That's better. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. So, let me just turn my camera on. I've got a flat of British peeps there, 140 on watching. So, what I noticed was this red brick sort of building and the two sort of styles of building. This one you can see over my shoulder, okay? So I diversified into the fields of Tartaria, mudflood, Antiquitech, and what became an unbelievably massive, mind-blowing subject. Nobody knew the way this was going to go, none of us. And it's opened Pandora's box. It's given us the keys for new beginnings after all of this carnage is over with. And all the tools we need to find out who we are, because that's a big part of this, guys. That's what drove me to the truth, was to find out what our place was in this. And what is this realm, and who are we, and what are we doing here? And, you know, I wanted more purpose. I wanted a purpose. I wanted to know, is it just what we're going to do? Is just come here, work, slave, and then eventually be killed? Is that our place here? And the big news and the good news is we are something much greater, and that's what they've been keeping from us. And this architecture and this world that you witness here, the world of Tartaria, has been expunged from the history books. There is no trace. You get clues from old documents I've been digging up for years, clues of this culture, this high culture, that are based on different sciences and different fundamentals than what they practice today. You know, all of the sciences today are deeply flawed, guys. You know, these people were based on a geometric, natural science, the real science, the natural science of the fractal geometry of this place. And the buildings burst out from this geometry. Now, they don't do this today. They can't replicate anything, as Gary just said. They can't replicate any of this in the modern days. Not possible. Now, they've replaced all of these buildings and they're knocking them down. In Birmingham, I noticed they're letting them go to rack and ruin, yet the buildings across the road are complete utter rubbish. Corrugated iron and steel. Now, there's a terrifying truth to it all, guys. You know, to know it is a life-changing experience, but it is beautiful and it is good, okay? It can be scary if you're the type of person who fears anything, but I got a feeling that you're not truthless, so you're not really, you know, you're brave, so you're not feared. But the truth is we're in a reset cycle, guys. We're in a reset cycle. And this place gets wiped out and gets depopulated by controllers. Controllers, we think, are the Phoenicians. Now, that's another story which I will touch upon as I go. So the story is, guys, right, is we've reached a point in our history. This is now, is the point that all of us have been thinking about, talking about. You can put it in terms of the New World Order or a biblical reset. It's not that. It's not that, it's us. We've evolved to reach this point. We're ready now for the next jump, the next escalation, the next jump in consciousness. We've been here before when we were producing this. There were more trees. They've chopped all the trees down, the big trees, and all of the forests of Britain and Europe, and it dropped the vibration. This was the fall of man. We were bigger, we were better, and we were illuminating. We had an inner glow, okay? We were super fantastic, okay? We had the power of manifestation. All of these abilities that you ever heard about, we were privy to. We probably didn't even need to eat, okay? We probably lived in symbiosis with animals and plants. We probably were breatharians, which is why in the Tatarian world, their buildings this big, like in Versailles in France, yet they don't build any toilets. Now, we were more. And it's coming out, and this Pandora's box has been opened. I'm explaining it all as best as I can now, guys. I won't cover all aspects, but I'll just give you a recap, if you like, and bring you up to where we are at the present day. It's absolutely mind-blowing. Let me just have a drink. Right. I got my... Can you just put that there a second? Thanks for coming. Right. Flat as British peeps, eh? Oi, oi. So what you're witnessing here, I'll give you the narrative as I'm going, okay, guys? Now I know a lot of you okay?
Yeah, keep the mic, that's it.
All right then. Now I know a lot of you are already familiar with this subject, and I know a lot of you, some of you I've met before at different conventions, some of you are interested in the alternative history field, which is what this is. So the idea is, guys, that history books are lies. They are basically a chronology of royal families and battles that never happened. Okay, guys, you look into it. I used to spend my life looking for certain battlefields. Go and try and find the Battle of Hastings. They don't even know where it is because it's nowhere. Because these things are narratives that we can't prove, and the real story is the Tatarian story. Now, what you're looking at here is basically a Hotel de Ville in Brussels. Basically, it was the biggest building of the 19th century. And this masonry is absolutely fantastic. It's made with a granite stone, and you'll find that you get ever decreasing pyramid-like domes or temples on the top. Some of them go up 5 high, and all of the columns. The columns are also a technology. All of these buildings are a tech, okay? The tech is called antiquitech or technasmia. It's a vibrational science and vibrational qualities of the building by the way it's designed, okay? So it bounces back off one another, echoes as well. It's all part of it. So we have a different schools of thought, with the pillars themselves, because they resonate. So we're thinking in terms of these things like heat sinks, if you like, or in the case of events like a plasma discharge event, which is one event that may happen, it would blast through and leave the building standing. Also, it would break waves. So if we did have floods, which we were prone to definitely in the past, because this is in our history books, even in the official history books, this thing would survive, okay? So these were built to withstand resets, these buildings. But this building does stand today, but it's a bit obscured by modern day buildings, etc. But you can witness it in Brussels. So that was the biggest one that they say that they built of the 1800s. Now, the whole world seems to arrive at 1800 mark. London, they say at the time, is the first million population city since ancient Rome, okay? And then the expansion of these cities is replicated. It could be anywhere. It could be Melbourne, it could be Ottawa, it could be South America, it could be anywhere in Europe, anywhere in Britain, and it's all the same story. Gold prospectors, or the Irish arrived, or in the case of Australia, criminals arrived, and they built a super fantastic civilization in no time at all. So they arrived in 1830s, and they have big skyscrapers, Tatarian buildings in the photographs that we witnessed, which I'll show you now, of the 1880s. These buildings already exhibit method, so they are a lot older. So the building you're seeing here is in St. Petersburg in Russia. It's in around the 1860s period. And what we find, which is really scary actually, really weird, we're trying to come to terms with what it might mean. But all of the photos we're witnessing from this period are tampered with. They are being cut around the buildings. We see many of these cuts from chops, and they are obscuring the skies. They are all vanilla skies in most of these shots of this period. Yeah. So we're having different ideas. Maybe these skies were full of the Tatarian transport, which was balloons, which was a different variety of balloons. But the fact still remains that they are hampering with the photos and they are hiding something in the sky. So this civilization you see here was built for giants in St. Petersburg, guys, but what you see is most of that building there is buried in mud. Okay, if you see up to the columns, this building, I'll show you images later, is very, very low. So they had the initiative to build massive, unbelievable structures of granite, marble. Any idea how hard it is to dress marble? This stuff, and there's no room for error. This is fantastic stuff. Geometrically perfect, dome, 4 angels. It's a microcosm of the way the structure of this place works. It's all fantastic thinking. Yet, they can't put a pavement outside, an infrastructure, lampposts, planters, fountains, or anything in this photograph. Also, no people. You can examine the photographs of many, many of these cities of the same period, and they are devoid of people. So now we're starting to think, oh, hang on, have they just replicated what they did now? Is it just an epidemic thing that everyone's just kept in? But overwhelmingly, guys, all you're seeing in these places are skeleton crews, which seem to be basically doing jobs on these cities, and all of the population is gone. So what we're surmising is, or what we're suggesting is, that around 1811 through to 1815 was a reset. The first one, the major one, was around 400 years ago. You may know it as Noah's flood, or one of Noah's flood, but not identical to the biblical narrative, because there were many, many survivors. But that was around 400 years ago, post-Renaissance. The Renaissance is the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment, when they found out about us, being able to lift our vibration together and glow, radiate energy, become human light bulbs. They know all about it. Now, everyone's missing in the pictures because we surmise that around 1811, they got killed. And there was a massive event, okay, guys? There was the New Madrid event in Missouri, in America, which is the biggest event in American history, natural event. If you look it up, the center of America lifted. The earthquakes was felt as far as Washington, D.C., or Portland on the other coast. So this was total, the whole of the north of the continent of America. Also, we're at war exactly the same time, 1812, all over the world. We got Napoleon traipsing across Europe. Can you hear me all right? Yeah. Napoleon traipsing across Europe to go and take Russia with 500,000 strong army. And I can't concentrate. It keeps distracting me, bro.